What's going on, everybody? It's Omar Almodovar here with Elite Recruits. Today, we have a very special video sitting down with one of our former players to talk a little bit about his recruiting journey, what he learned from it, and what advice he has for guys that are about to go through the process or in the middle of it as well. So if you want to take it away, introduce yourself, tell them your name, what position you play, where you're from, and kind of where things are at for you when we first connected.
Yes, sir. I mean, Omar the GOAT, man. That's what I want to start out first with. But my name's Dillon. I was at Iowa Central Community College this past year. I'm a left-handed pitcher, and through Omar's recruiting program and like the summer ball team, the Boca Beach Boys, I got signed to a D1 team, and yeah, man, I just couldn't be happier.
Yes, sir. I'm excited. We're just catching up a little bit here. I was just with you not longer than a couple weeks ago, but catching up as you head out to school. So that's going to be fun. But let's take it back a little bit, right? So when we first started working together, what was going on with your recruiting process at that point? And, where were you at with everything?
Yeah, so when I first talked to Omar, he actually reached out to me on Twitter, and I was posting on Twitter at the time. I think that's one of the best things you could do right now in this day of age of recruiting, and that's one thing that he harps on the most, is making sure that you include your GPA. You don't leave out stats that coaches want to see. Don't just post videos. You got to include all the specifics and stuff like that. And so I was doing that, and he did say I was doing a decent job. But what really pushed me to the next level, to talking to from like 10 coaches to like 100 coaches, was the platform he provided. He had a structured plan for me to just get my post together. All I had to do was just make the video, and then after that, he sent me what I needed to do. I put it all in I put it all into one post. They would post it on the Elite Recruit site on Twitter. They have a bunch of followers, a bunch of coaches follow them. A bunch of people will see it. So that was kind of what took me to the next level in recruiting, was how many, like, the platform that Elite Recruits has with all these coaches. So
For sure.
yeah.
I think it's funny when you say, like, going from talking to a few coaches to almost 100 coaches, it almost sounds hard to believe. But I remember you sending me like screen recordings of your DMs after videos were
Yeah.
posted, how many coaches were reaching out. You were a guy that, like, you've always had the talent, right? You're a left-handed pitcher that has really good stuff. You weren't getting a ton of opportunities at school at the time, right? But obviously that changed down the line. Talk a little bit about where were you at specifically, though, in the recruiting process when we first connected?
Yeah, so when we first connected, I was, like I said, I had a couple posts up, like one or two, and I had a couple follows from coaches. A couple just like, hey, like, where are you at with, talking to schools? But other than that, like, I was pretty lost, and to be honest, I really wasn't, like, I haven't had any phone calls with any coaches at that point or anything. It was just kind of, I was trying to get my name out there, but it was hard, especially, where I was sitting at with limited, opportunity, which you can't always, that's not always something you can control. So,
For sure.
um, but as soon as you text me, and I saw like what your thought process was, and I trusted in your process. But it was like after the first post, it was just like, just you. I mean, you talked about it. It was just scrolling through, and it's like I had coaches. I had one night where I had 5 calls with coaches just in one night, and I mean, it was kind of, hectic, like kind of stressful at some points, trying to manage my time with school and baseball and talking to all these coaches. But yeah, I couldn't be more blessed to, have the opportunity to talk to all those coaches at the same time.
For sure. It was definitely a good problem to have at that point in
Yeah.
time. I remember, so one of the things when we first connected was that obviously you weren't getting a ton of innings on the mound. You weren't getting a lot of opportunities. So you had the mindset of, oh, it's going to be tough for me to get recruited because I'm not pitching, right? And, definitely there's truth to that, but it doesn't mean that you can't play at the next level, right? It just means that your approach and your game plan has to be a little bit different. I still remember that one of the first things we talked about is, think about, once we're posting you and coaches are reaching out to you, they're probably going to reach out to your coaches at school. And the more coaches reach out to your coaches at school, the more they wonder, well, maybe this is a kid we do have to give an opportunity to. And that literally happened. So I
No,
think
exactly.
happens for a reason. So once we got started, right? We talked about what your goals were. Obviously, playing high level Division 1 baseball. To hopefully one day play professionally. We put together a game plan to help you get to that next step. Talk a little bit about how important it was for you to have a game plan and guidance rather than just trying to figure it out on your own.
No, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because I know when you first brought it up, when so like when if you do go through the elite recruits program, you know that you'll get sent a big like Excel sheet with you're gonna have target schools, you're gonna have a target list, and I thought that was super helpful because instead of just oh I hope this like I really want to go to this school, I hope this school reaches out. It's like no, you're gonna sit down and you're gonna be realistic. You're gonna have target schools, the schools that you want to go to and that you're hoping to go to, you're gonna have your reach schools where you can have where it's like more realistic, like okay, with how I'm playing right now, and how the season's going, here are some schools that I think I could really contribute to or really go get a good scholarship to or offer. And then
Exactly.
you're always gonna have these fallback schools too. Maybe these are schools that have already hit you up in your Twitter DMs or on text messages, or like you said, talking to my coaches at Iowa Central, and yeah, and so since you have this structured plan, you can like let's say one of your target schools texts you or DMs you on Twitter, then you can update that in the spreadsheet so you know, okay, this is a school that's interested in me. Maybe I need to talk to them more. Maybe I can have Omar reach out to them for me, put in a good word, and then the relationship just builds right there. So I think the structured plan was a huge part of how I got recruited for sure.
For sure, especially for you, like you touched on earlier, trying to balance baseball, getting opportunities, trying to succeed when you get those opportunities while trying to keep your grades up in the classroom and then dealing with recruiting too. If you don't have a structured game plan, it's super easy to get lost in the mix. And I see a lot of guys with a lot of talent not end up at the schools they should just because they didn't know how to get there or what to do. So yeah, 100%. That's a good fact. So a lot of players watching this now, they might wonder what it's actually like once you're inside the program, right? Outside of, spreadsheets and things like that. How would you describe, the support, the communication, and, your overall guidance in the program?
I mean, it was nothing really but exceptional. I mean, anytime like he gives you his personal phone number, you can text him 24/7. It doesn't matter. He'll respond to you within a couple hours if he's busy, which most of the time, like he'll respond in like 20, 30 minutes. I mean,
Mhm.
you can call him, you can hop on videos. It really doesn't matter. I mean, we hopped on a couple Zoom calls. We hopped on, I can't even count how many times we probably called or text each other, just
Right.
randomly. Any questions you have, him or anybody on his team will answer with the best opinion that they can and what they think is best. And yeah, I mean that's just kind of what I loved about it was just like you're in it. It's like a big family, you know. It's
Exactly.
nobody's left out or anything. It's all it's
100%.
yeah
And yeah, you said it perfectly. It is a family, right? And I specifically remember the night that we had our phone call. We talked for, it was almost, like an hour and a half on the
yeah.
phone, maybe 2 hours, but we were just getting to know each other. Obviously you're in Iowa. I was in Miami. We had never met each other. You had no idea who I was. I saw your videos. I saw you had talent. I reached out to you to see what was going on with your recruiting process. Were you unsure at first about, like working with somebody online you never met before or paying for recruiting help? And what ultimately changed your mind?
Oh yeah, I definitely was, and you know that deep down because we talked
100
about that was one of the big things we talked about. Yeah, and you just and I was a little like skeptical at first. I was well,
Super skeptical. Tell him the truth. Super skeptical. I
yeah,
remember
I was really pressing him,
100%.
um, but yeah, no, like when you really explain, like it's almost like betting on yourself, or like the analogy you used was, have you ever drove somewhere you didn't know where you're going without GPS? Like, how did you get there? It's like you needed that extra help to get to the next checkpoint or level of what you're trying to do, and
Exactly.
obviously you played at Division 1 level. You went to actually you played for what, three different levels, I think, or something
Yeah.
like that.
JUCO, D2, and D1. Yeah.
So you knew what the recruiting process was like, and I really didn't. I mean, me being at a walk on at a JUCO, and so I think like just being able to have the trust that you were going like that your program works and that it works was huge for me, and I just I bet on elite recruits and myself, and I got to the next level. So
100%. And it's funny because I try to, there is a lot of different recruiters out there and whatnot, but yeah, my playing experience is one thing. And sure, yeah, I played at the Division 1 level, great, whatever. But it's how recent I played, right? And understanding, how it's a lot more of, like you said, a family. And it's not transactional, like, hey, let me just get you a school. Like how close our relationship has grown, where you even came down to Florida this summer and played
Yeah.
for me, got to spend a lot of time together, get to know each other. So if somebody is watching this now and they're still on the fence about working with me, or joining somebody that they've never met before, like what would you tell them?
I would tell them go to your Twitter page, go to Elite Recruits on Twitter, Instagram. You're not gonna find anything, that's saying that Omar is not the GOAT, or Elite Recruits is not like a good site, Like if you just scroll through, like I remember I went to the first time I looked on your guys' Twitter page, it was, oh, like how many people like committed, like it's like you take so much pride in giving kids the opportunity to play at the next level, that it almost like irks you if they can't get it done. So he's gonna do
Yes.
everything in his power to do it, and he did for me. I mean, he went above and beyond for me. So I'm just super appreciative of that.
Yes, sir. And I'm appreciative of you, man. So now that you're on the complete other side of it, you're getting ready to go to play Division 1 baseball in literally 12 days from now. After all the stress, all the ups and downs, what advice would you give to guys that are about to go into their recruiting process?
The advice I would give is get good videos. Make sure you're posted on Twitter frequently. Don't leave out anything. I don't care, if maybe your velo's been down. Like coaches understand that velo can fluctuate. Um, Make sure to include your GPA. You really got to focus on school. If you don't have a good GPA, coaches will just scroll right past. That's one thing that they really look for that I didn't even really realize until I went through. Like, luckily, I did lock in and I did have a really good GPA. But that's one thing that you don't want to miss out on. And other things are, make sure you're responding to all the coaches, because the baseball community is small. And I know Omar harps on this a lot too, but the baseball community is small and coaches do go to different schools. So you never know, maybe this JUCO is talking to you, but maybe then and you don't respond to the coach, or you say something that it's not necessary, and you never know. Maybe that coach could be coaching at a D1 program the next year. So just make sure that you're always responding, you're always respectful to coaches, and yeah.
100%. Couldn't have said it better myself. So now, like we said, you're obviously getting on the way to go play Division 1 baseball at Youngstown State. If anybody, that's watching this wants to follow along with your journey, see how you do, and obviously your route to professional baseball one day, as well as, maybe reach out for advice, where can guys find you on social media?
Man, you guys can follow me on Instagram, Dillon Lettow, DILLON LETTOW. I think my Twitter is the same thing. And yeah, so appreciate you having me and stuff, Omar. I almost
No,
said coach. I was in Florida, and he was one of my coaches this summer, so it's just ingrained in my brain right now.
I was not your coach.
He
But
was my coach.
I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Any last words for guys out there, and any words of encouragement, anything else?
You got to have the right mindset. Always believe in yourself. That's the biggest thing. That's one of the things I'm trying to work on when I get on the mound, is be confident every time. You know your stuff's good, just go out and do it.
Yes, sir. All right. That's all I got for you. Appreciate you sharing your story. If you guys are watching this and you want to follow Dillon's journey, follow him on social media. If you guys are struggling with the recruiting process and feel like you need help, reach out to me. We'll talk, see if it's a good fit, and then we'll be on our way.